All right. Okay, you got your list?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up Chrome and it's just giving me a hard way to go.
I have my list. I think we might overlap on at least one. And then there was a mention I never looked up. Whatever. One of my friends told me about it, and I just never checked it out. It might be available on Prime or something. I should check at least.
I probably stayed away from the most famous one.
Oh, did you? Well, then it's all mine.
All right.
Oh, no. Wait.
No, not that.
Oh, it's like, wait, that's not... It's not that popular, known for that. Let's see.
Matthew McConaughey.
From which movie is that, though?
Dazed and Confused.
Like every movie? Every Matthew McConaughey.
That's like his catchline now. That movie is so big.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking about Lincoln Lawyer the other day. It's like, man, I want to see that movie again. That was a really good movie. You ever see that?
Yeah, I have to go. If I'm watching in that type, I'm gonna go to Time to Kill.
I mean, pierogies at the same time. I'm trying to do that in between. Yeah, Time to Kill. Well, that other Johnny Depp movie reminds me of that one too. The In the Nick of Time. I always get those two mixed up. Which one's which?
I don't think I've seen that one. Johnny Depp's really hit or miss.
He's gross.
So he is on one of my films on the list.
Oh, he's on none of mine, so that one's safe. All right. Oh, you got your stuff up? You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okie doke.
You are listening to Coast to Coast Film Reviews with Raj and David. Let's talk movies.
Hey everybody, welcome to Coast Film Reviews. We are now 100% organic and finally with no artificial preservatives or redeeming social value. I'm your host Raj, but don't worry, you won't have just one annoying voice to listen to. You'll also have a lovely white man, a guy who used to be his own best friend until he caught himself fooling around with his wife. It's David.
Oh, thank you for the great introduction. I thought that was just between me and you, but hey.
Yeah, well, that was a tricky one. I was like, okay, yeah. As long as I deliver it clear, it should be okay. It might get me into some trouble.
Hey, I'm thick-skinned, man. You can say whatever you want.
No, but you heard it clear, right? It wasn't that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I heard it clear.
Okay. His own. Okay.
My
you were your own. That's okay. If I have to explain it, then it's terrible.
Yeah, it's a bad joke if you got to tell me all about it.
I'll just edit that out that I didn't explain.
How you doing this evening?
I am doing good. I think I'm finally back on my regular diet. Increased my calories, and but then I didn't get to work out enough this week, so I'm like feeling like a bum. So I definitely got to pick it up this week. But other than that, I'm feeling pretty good. How about you?
Hey man, I've been watching a ton of movies and working.
Yeah, so
that's
a ton of movies.
My life. Sometimes kids need stuff, and besides that,
kids. Priority.
And on my list, I found another really good PG-13 horror movie that I actually enjoyed a lot too. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But yeah, I found a good one.
So we have.
You probably have already seen it, but
I did. Is it an older or newer movie?
I think it came out last year, but it was a theatrical horror movie.
Did we talk about it in the group already? Like someone posted a review?
No, I don't believe so. No.
Oh, it came out last year and I didn't.
Maybe I think you've probably seen it.
Okay. Well, we'll hear about that in
I'd be
segment 3.
surprised if you haven't.
Something to look forward to. Everyone's got to stay tuned now. Don't drop the name. You gotta wait like the 40 days for me to upload that part whenever that comes out.
The sequel will already be out, but hey.
I'm not that bad. Okay.
No, you're not.
All right. So for our top 10 list today, we are doing our top stoner films. Now, what I meant by that when I first suggested was movies that you watch while stoned. And I guess we should mention that the show does not condone the usage of drugs or alcohol by any means. We're just...
You're in LA. You can condone marijuana.
But isn't this is worldwide? This is international, technically, so people may have different feelings about us promoting such things. But
they won't be listening to our show.
If you, that's probably true. Nobody... I don't know who does actually, but these movies on my list anyway are great whether you're stoned or not. They are stoner films. If you do want to enjoy them stoned, I think it'll be a fun time. Otherwise, they're still fun. But I feel like these are just fun, silly movies. Also, like I feel like maybe these aren't just stoner movies. What about your list?
Mine are ones that involve stoners or something that is just kind of trippier, a little mind bending or something along those lines that you would enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I was hoping that when I said that, you didn't just think of like, oh, well, only movies featuring stoners. Yeah, so I have like a couple ones that are a little weird and then also that are almost like horror, I guess. So... okay. Well, why don't you get us started off then? Please do the honors.
All right. This is one that I have watched countless times. Whether if I was imbibing in marijuana or back in my younger days when you might take something that's a little stronger mind-bending type of chemical. But this is Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Okay.
It's 1982. It's the companion to their album, but it's just a montage of segments that include animation, but also regular film, and it's just insane to watch. I don't know if you know too much about Pink Floyd, but they're kind of I guess you could say it's classic rock, but they have a lot of their music is anti-establishment, but also pro-drugs or about drugs. Mm-hmm. But this movie is just very captivating.
So the movie, I know, like they make music, but so the movie is about the album, or what is the movie about then exactly?
They call it a companion of the album.
Mm-hmm.
It's very metaphorical. It's not a straightforward narrative. A lot of symbolic imagery. The Wall album, there's a lot of political themes in that album as well. So you do see that. It hits on imagery about drug use, but also war and fascism. Has some slightly disturbing scenes, also, some sexual situations, a little violence, a little gore. But the way that it's put together is just, it messes with your head. So when this is back in the LSD days, like when we were 18, 19 years old, this was the movie that was like the go-to to that. But it's also fun if you're just watching it, or if you're a fan of marijuana. It pulls you into it. It brings you into another universe.
Okay.
It has a huge cult status.
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen like the T-shirts and stuff. I'm not sure I even sometimes some of these older bands and stuff, like I don't know if I've heard their music until someone says, "Oh yeah, that's by them." I'm like, "Oh, okay, so they have heard the music."
We probably the song "We Don't Need Your Education."
Oh yeah.
That's off of that album. That song is called "Another Brick in the Wall."
Yeah,
but it's how this wall is building up to separate. It has a lot to do with fascism, and probably a lot to do with the Berlin Wall.
I was going to say the Berlin Wall is the only thing that comes to mind. Okay. All right. I'm wondering if I should go silly first or something. Okay. I'll go with. Well, this will be my first Indian film to any of our lists to the show. I think you mentioned a movie, but I don't think you actually talked about it, right? That one you mentioned, you just recommended a horror movie to me one time, right? That
Yeah,
wasn't really.
yeah, that would be Thumbad. I think that came out last year or the year before.
Hmm.
That was an Indian or a Hindi horror movie.
But it wasn't like a pick for you or anything, right? You just kind of dropped it in.
No, I just brought it up because I think we were talking about foreign horror films in
Then,
India. India is
then,
not really known for their horror output very much. I think it kind of stemmed from a discussion similar to that.
so then this is going to be the first real mention of. I'm just going to ignore that you ever mentioned that one. This one is the original title is called. I want to say it's pronounced Makkhi because it's a different language, but it's also in my native language, Malayalam, which comes from the South Indian state of Kerala. Icha, which means fly. Uh, this is a weird movie. Without giving too much of the premise away, it's like happens in the first 15, 20 minutes. There's a boy's in love with girl, and girl is catches the eye of a billionaire guy, and billionaire does not like the competition, ends up whacking the guy, the other lover boy, and that lover boy gets reincarnated into the body of a fly. And and so I was hoping you'd get a laugh out of you and not just like a what the fuck, Raj, are you talking about?
No, that sounds interesting.
So it's on, oh gosh. No, I don't think it's on Netflix or Prime, but the full movie I saw it on YouTube, so everyone check it out on YouTube. Maakhi. I'm pretty
Is
sure
it subtitled?
there I did get subtitles, I think, on a couple of them. That is a good question.
Because that blows the stoner thing right out the water if you got to read.
If you do, no, don't turn on the subtitles. Then like then it's even like
Then
whoa,
you're
what's
really
happening?
messed up.
You don't even need like just mute it, like whatever. Once the fly scenes come in, like you're gold. Like it's great. It
Do
gets
they
a
use
little
like the multi-lens camera when it shows the fly's perspective?
not as accurate as it would be for a fly, but yeah, they tried some kind of compound eye looking thing. It's funny, it's ridiculous for the most part, and the things they try to incorporate to have the fly do, it's crazy. I mean, I didn't realize flies were capable of such dangerous feats. But by the end, like you're really cheering for this fly to win, and it's the hero of the movie, and it just it's so like you care about the fly, and like oh, it's funny. It's a good time.
Great, bringing some of the Indian culture into the show.
Yeah, for the first installment being this bullshit movie.
Well, I think
My-
we were talking about. I was like, yeah, I know Indian culture. I watched Slumdog Millionaire, directed by the whitest British guy you could ever meet.
But have you seen The Fly?
No, I have not seen that one.
My people are upset with me.
Well, maybe you have like Harold and Kumar on your list to bring a little more of the Indian flair.
Well, we'll find out.
We'll find out. All right, I'm going to go to my next one. This one came out. Oh, this is 2 years ago now. I was about to say last year, but God, time flies. This is 2018 film Mandy, directed by Panos Cosmatos, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and starring. God, I think we mentioned this actor more than any actor on the show, any actor in Hollywood. Nic Cage. It seems like we
what
get a
other
Nic
movies
Cage.
is he in?
Oh man, he did.
Anything else?
Did Ghost Rider,
Oh, that hit.
Drive Angry.
Oh, I love Drive Angry. It's so dumb.
But great old Nic Cage, and this is Nic Cage. He's able to be, full blown Nic Cage in this film, which is when I love. I love Nic Cage in a film where he can just be Nic Cage. I don't like reserved Nic Cage all that much.
No, he's
But-
like trying too hard, and they're like pushing him into this box that he doesn't belong in.
But this is just kind of it's the plot or the outline of the plot is just a basic revenge film. A cult comes to town and kills Nic Cage's wife, and he makes it his goal. They kind of mess him up too, and he makes it his goal to seek out revenge. But this film is shot in the way that it's shot. A lot of aerial shots, like the whatchamacallit, the drone. There's a lot of drone shots, which is a little trippy in and of itself. But the color palette there's a lot of neon colors, a lot of color schemes going on, and I don't want to give away too much of this film, but there is like a bad acid trip, and kind of the finale of the film is really, really mind-bending too. It was actually one of my favorite horror films of 2018. So it's not only just a stoner film. This is a film that I think is just a really good film regardless.
Yeah, it's definitely on my list. I just keep forgetting that I have Mandy to watch. I might watch it tonight. Also, have you seen the new Nic Cage, Color Out of Space?
No, it's not showing anywhere here, man.
I think it's just starting to come out in these early releases. I see them at ArcLight out here.
Maybe next week we'll get it. But that's a H.P. Lovecraft based off his story, which I've said a few times in the show I'm a huge fan of. So I'm kind of pumped up to see that.
Okay. Nicolas Cage once again starting on our list. Okay, so I did that one. All right, since you brought it up, I'm gonna go with good old Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. It was a big surprise that I had it on this list, clearly. Jerk. Yeah, so it stars the wonderful Asian guy, don't know his name. What the hell is Harold and Kumar? And
but you know Penn.
Yeah. So second, the other Indian guy that I have mentioned in the past that's not David Patel. John Cho. So Harold and Kumar starring John Cho and Cal Penn. I just watched a scene the other day, one of my favorite scenes, when he's there to break Harold out of jail, and he sniffs the huge bag of weed behind him. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And he just starts daydreaming about his life with this human-sized bag of weed. He gets married, and then he's like
sex scene.
The bag is going down on him, and then there's a scene when he's just trying to add up the numbers and nothing is adding up, and she brings him it's just a bag with a robe on and some arms, and it brings him some coffee, and he drinks, and he spits it out, and he's like, you I don't want to say the bad word, but yeah, he's like you bitch. It's like, you call this coffee, and he spits it back in the bag, and he backhands it. He's like, I'm sorry, baby, I love you.
That film kind of resurrected Neil Patrick Harris too, didn't it?
I think it did, yeah, as a different kind of character too.
Yeah, because I think that was before How I Met Your Mother, if I remember correctly, and it kind of put him back in the public conscience.
Yeah, because I think everyone just knew him as little Doogie Howser.
Yeah,
and that gave him a real badass kind of attitude. He was this cocaine snorting crazy man who steals their car at one point, I think. Like, I don't know. And there's some women involved.
I love the freak show part. I think that might be my favorite part.
Wait, which is that? What freak show part?
Freak show. I think he's played by Jamie Kennedy. It's the really ugly, festering boil face guy with his girlfriend.
Yeah, that's right. Wait, no. Isn't Stabler from SVU?
I don't. I thought it was Jamie Kennedy, but I haven't seen it in so long.
Hold on. Here, come on. His name is Freak Show?
Yeah, I think his name is Freak Show. And he has the real attractive wife.
Yeah. I want to say it. Freak Show says he suggests a foursome.
Yeah.
I think it's him. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's
Oh, it
it's
is.
that guy. Oh my God, I'm trying to catch his name real quick. But you know who plays Stabler in SVU?
Yeah.
I swear, this is like the second or third time he's played this just random weird role. He's just he's so creepy. But yeah, he's a funny guy. Yeah, this is my other Indian related movie because Kalpen, although I have kicked him out of the family. He's no longer among us. He left house. He's dead to me. So go ahead.
This one, I think, is a tragically underseen film, and I haven't seen it in a long time, so I'm not going to get too deep into it because I really want to rewatch it. And when you brought up this list, this is like actually the first thing that popped in my mind. So this is 1994's The Stone Age. This came out after Dazed and Confused. I remember I actually saw this in theaters, and it's just this little indie comedy, and I don't think too many people remember it, which is sad. It's set in the 70s, and it's kind of like a couple headbanger guys on their way to try to find the house party with the girls and everything. But it's just so funny. I liked it better than Days Confused back then. There's really trippy part where they're listening to Blue Oyster Cult's song "Don't Fear the Reaper," which is just really funny. They think this eye is following them. There's a character's name's Hanky, and everybody calls him Snot Rag, and he gets so pissed off that everybody calls him Snot Rag. And they're driving around one of those old 1973 Volkswagen Squarebacks, if you remember those cars.
Oh,
And
I guess.
the whole thing was them just trying to find a party with girls. There's one scene they go over this one house and they decide to piss in ice trays and put them back in the freezer.
Gross.
But yeah, I'm gonna go try to find this film. I haven't seen it in so long. It's probably out of print, so it's probably hard to find. But yeah, I just remember this. I had a lot of great memories back when I was like 15, 16 years old watching this film.
From what year?
94.
From 1994. Okay, yeah. Because there was like some other TV movie from 1989. I was like, that's not it.
Stoned Age.
Oh, the Stoned. Oh, I put Stone Age. Okay. Yeah, and
I don't recognize any of the names that took part in it at all.
No.
And it wasn't even really indie. It was Trimark. Trimark's kind of indie, but yeah, I think I'm gonna try to see if they put a Blu-ray out of that. I'm gonna have to add that to my collection.
Did you check? Oh, you didn't check. I was gonna say, what about in Prime and Netflix? Sometimes they have these weird old ones.
No, I haven't checked. They could possibly have it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go on to my number. What am I on? 3. All right. So my number 3. I'm gonna say. I think I think this one might actually be one of my first stoner films. Event Horizon. Do you remember this movie?
Yes, I do. I probably watched it a few months ago.
Oh man, Event Horizon from 1997, starring Lawrence Fishburne and Sam Neill. I don't think I've seen a bad Sam Neill movie. I've seen quite a few, not including Jurassic Park, and I feel like more than a couple of them have been some kind of weird, twisty, kind of like surreal kind of feeling to it. And there was one that I was trying to watch. I was trying to get a copy of. This is unrelated to my actual pick. Possession. Have you heard of it? From 1981, I think. Have you seen it? I think it's a foreign director. And
I might have.
It's like banned, and it's so hard to find a copy on Amazon. It's like for $35. It's like DVD and Blu-ray copies. And the only copies that are available online to stream are like really cut and like cut down bad by like 40 minutes or so. So I was like, oh, I want to see the full one first, like over 2 hours. But anyway, Event Horizon, it's there's a ship that is abandoned out in space in like the nowhere of space, as if as if it's not worse already, it's in some like some distant part of space that nobody ever goes to. Space isn't like wide enough, and they go out there to rediscover this ship, and there's all this mysterious things going on about it, and they bring Sam Neill along, who was the creator of the ship, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And he doesn't explain a lot about what the ship is, and what has become of the ship is even a mystery to him. And so there's all this weird stuff, like whether the ship is actually directly killing them in some parts is happening, but then there are other just weird things that are going on with them, and it's awesome. It's a really weird movie, and I don't even know how like some people just start writing some of this stuff, these these scripts for these things, and then they just like, yeah, let's do that. Let's like, does it just grow as the script goes on? They're like, oh yeah, we should change this, because some of the visual stuff when it comes to, I think we talked about this with maybe with one of the interviews we did, but it's like, how much of the script can you be super visual about? I feel like sometimes they just have to leave it up to makeup or the DP, and like, how can you do this? Like, we have to get, this is the shot I want, and then they just kind of figure it out as it goes along.
But I just want to mention, you brought up Sam Neill. I just want to mention my favorite Sam Neill movie of all time, which is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated films directed by a master ever. Have you ever seen In the Mouth of Madness?
Oh my gosh, that's one of the ones I saw, but it's so long ago. I remember seeing it. I think it came on like late night on cable one time. It was nuts.
Yeah, it's directed by John Carpenter, and it's just one of those films that is John Carpenter. He's a legend, and not many people know about it unless they're hardcore horror fans. But yeah,
isn't he a writer in that movie? He's like a writer in his story. There's something about it.
He was the agent looking for the writer. It has almost, I would say, like a Stephen King. Stephen King writes a lot about writers. So it almost has like a little bit of a Stephen King feel to it, but it's a good film.
From 1995. That's I think it's on Prime, if anyone's interested in that one too. All right, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna say this is my favorite ever. I'm gonna say it first, just in case you try to steal it. This film is a 10 for me. I don't put too many. If I went through my list of what I think is a 10 out of 10 film, that's probably very few comedies. This would be one of them. But this is 1998's Half Baked. If I'm being totally honest, I've probably seen this film more than any film in my life. Like, just the number of times I've seen it. But this is Dave Chappelle before most of America knew who he was. I'm a big stand-up person, so I was excited for this film because I love Dave Chappelle's Killing Them Softly stand-up. But it's Dave Chappelle, Jim Breuer, who was another great stand-up, Harlan Williams, who was another really good stand-up. But it's about 4 stoner buddies. One of them goes out to get munchies one night, and he comes upon a horse and is feeding the horse all the munchies. The horse dies and turns out to be a police horse, so they arrest him for being a cop killer. So these stoners who never believed in selling weed decide that they have to sell weed to get their buddy out of prison. And it's just so funny. This movie, if you laugh the whole fucking time. It's just that good of a movie. Dave Chappelle is obviously amazing in it, but him and Jim Breuer, I can say this film line for line. If I could drive you insane if you watch this with me, I know every single line.
What is the name of the guy on the couch?
The Guy on the Couch.
Oh, is it?
Oh, he doesn't have it. That's another great stand-up. That's another great stand-up named Stephen Wright.
Oh, that's right. That's Stephen Wright.
Tommy Chong is in it. Tommy Chong plays the Squirrel Master.
Yeah. That's right. His friend in jail.
Snoop Dogg's in it. Jon Stewart's in it. Willie Nelson, Bob Saget.
What did he say? What movie did he say with Jon Stewart? He was like, "But have you seen it on weed?"
And so was it Scent of a Woman?
A woman. That's a good
Have you ever
movie.
seen it on weed? And one of my favorite lines is Willie Nelson, because basically all these cameos is when they start selling drugs, and they make they show stereotypical smokers, and Willie Nelson is the old head, and Willie Nelson says, "I remember when a dime bag cost a dime. Do you know how much condoms cost back then, young man?" And Dave Chappelle's like, "I don't know." He's like, "Neither do I. We never had to use them." That's such a great movie.
What about the calendar with featuring Nasty Nate in the?
Yeah, the prison calendar.
He's just like scribbling all over the crotch. He's like, no,
No, you nasty forest of love.
Yeah, what's Harlan Williams?
Harlan Williams. He's a funny guy. You might remember him in Dumb and Dumber as the cop who drinks the piss.
Oh no, I forgot he was in that movie.
You remember they get pulled? Jim Carrey's pissing in the bottles because they don't want to stop because they just they just pissed off that guy at the diner.
Yeah, the mobster or something was that from.
No,
right?
They pissed off the rednecks.
Oh.
They put the tab on the rednecks and run, so he's pissing in the bottles because they don't want to stop, and the police pull him over. It's Harlan Williams. He's like, "What, you got some of Granddad's old medicine there? Give me that bottle, boy."
Gross. Yeah, I remember him from my gym. I spotted him there. Oh, God, it was like 4 months ago or something. I only told
all the comedians come to your gym.
That's like the only one that's a comedian. I've only seen like
Todd Berry too, right? Or
what's that? Oh yeah, Todd Glass.
Todd
no,
Berry.
I saw him at a different one. That was a different gym. But yeah, I saw Harlan Williams down in Hollywood at a gym there, and I was like, oh crap, that's him. He gained a lot of weight. I mean, he's a comedian. He's not like going for Mr. Universe or anything. So
I haven't seen him in anything in a long time.
Mm.
He's a really weird stand-up. Like the stuff that he says is just so off the wall.
He's still doing stand-up like in actual.
I haven't seen him in years, but those guys usually just stay in that until they die.
Well, geez. Well, David, you just scored your first point.
Oh yeah.
So I know how much it means to you, which is why I announced it.
Well, I had to change strategy because you underrate really great films. Usually.
I don't. I haven't given any of these ratings. I don't rank them.
But you'd be like, "What's the best horror film on a spaceship?" And you come out the gate with Alien.
So at number 5, the entire Aliens franchise. And you're like, well, fuck, geez.
I'm actually putting in some semblance of order. And
well, not anymore. The gloves are off.
Well, did you have an honorable mention?
I do have 2 of them, one of which I didn't actually see, so I'm hesitant to mention that one. It was just...
Stay away from that one.
Someone told me I should see it, and so it's someone else's honorable mention. So I was like, well, maybe I'll say it, but I don't know. Now that I said all this, maybe I won't. All right, so that cuts me to 2. Oh, then I'll just throw one of my honorable mentions. Pretend you didn't, but I'll give you the point anyway. All right, so my number 2, this one is a series that it may be not very popular, but I started watching it years ago when I first had Netflix. I just found it. Have you ever heard of The Cube?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? I don't know.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but yeah, and I've seen. I don't think I've seen the sequels, but I saw the first one.
The Cube. I want to make sure I got the right year. No, not that one. The Cube.
That's another late 90s one, isn't it?
Yeah, not starring Ice Cube. It is. Is it this one? No, hold on. The Cube 2.
97 is The Cube. Oh, I was right. Cube 2 is 2002. Cube 0, 2004.
Oh, okay, yep, there it is. Yeah, it didn't show me that picture. So, yeah, my next one is the Cube. Well, it's actually called just Cube. That was my mistake. From 1997, and I think I might have seen 2 first, but the reason I put it on this list is because I have issues with claustrophobia. And I don't have any problem with elevators because I keep telling myself the doors will open eventually. So I can last an elevator ride. In other places, I know I went for, I don't know why I'm telling you all this, but I went for a CAT scan and I just couldn't do it, man. That loud banging noise, and they shove your whole body down this tiny little tube. I was like, oh my gosh. I started freaking out. And they asked me if I wanted drugs, like to put me under or something. I was like, I don't know. I don't think so. And I was like, forget it. And I just walked out. So
just give me whatever you got.
It explains, yeah, give me it all. So I didn't realize it was that bad. But when I've seen this movie in the past, I thought about it. I was like, yeah, that really irked me. And it's not like it's, the best film, like camera work or anything, and it's the best script or anything. But just like, if you really try and put yourself in some of these scenes, like you kind of get to feeling the cramped space and the locked in. And I know I've woke up in a sweat from in the middle of the night because of some kind of situation that my head has put me in where I'm dreaming of stuck somewhere and I can't move my arms. I just freak the F out. I mean, I go crazy and I wake up and I'm like, so claustrophobia is definitely a thing. And there's another mention I'll mention in a little bit, but yeah, the Cube, there's a Cube 2 and a Cube 0. So my pick is that whole franchise. That's it got me in a place that I was uncomfortable and definitely memorable.
Yeah, I always like to think about being claustrophobic when I'm stoned.
Well, yeah, so that's what I was saying. I preempted all this by saying it's not necessarily a great stoner films, like to have so much fun.
It sobers you up a little bit if you need it. That's
if you're stoned and you watch these, oh man, what a trip.
Well, I will go to my number one.
Oh.
Let me see. This is 1998's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Directed by Terry Gilliam, starring Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro. This is a film adaptation of a Hunter S. Thompson book. And, oh God, these guys do a lot of drugs in this movie. They do a lot of drugs. Hunter S. Thompson, he was a writer, also a journalist. And this just follows him going to Las Vegas. He's going there to report on a motorcycle race. And just insanity ensues. There's just one scene where I believe he took a bunch of mescaline and he's in a bar and everybody starts looking like dinosaurs to him. So it's like dinosaurs all stomping around. They're driving in his convertible. I believe it's a Cadillac, and they're huffing ether, and he thinks these bats are flying out of the sky after him. But if you like trippy films, this is it. I'm not the biggest fan of Johnny Depp, but he hits this role perfectly. He is Hunter S. Thompson. This is another one of those cult classic films. But yeah, check this out. It's funny. It's really dark humor, and it's just really trippy.
Johnny Depp, Benicio del Toro, Tobey Maguire, Gary Busey.
Ellen
Barkin, Mark Harmon, Cameron Diaz,
yeah.
Lyle Lovett. That name is familiar. Who's Lyle Lovett?
That was the singer who married.
Lyle Lovett. I know.
Yeah.
That's just why I saw his face.
And even Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Wow. Name of the month.
Yeah.
Is that his birth name?
Yeah, I think his parents named him Flea.
Oh, Flea. All right, then I guess I will throw my one of my honorable mentions into my number one. Then it's not ranked. My other one, for the sake of claustrophobia, is called Crawl or Die. This one is super independent looking. It's for the most part, from what I remember, it takes place, a lot of it, inside this tunnel. There's a SWAT team-esque group of guys who are protecting the last fertile female, and I think there's also a male involved too, and they're from like some kind of sanctuary, and there's some kind of monster after them, and the only way to safety is through this tunnel. And so the SWAT team is escorting these individuals through the tunnel, and that tunnel gets smaller and smaller and very uncomfortably much smaller. And it was hard to watch. Like I did not realize.
Yeah, I don't think I ever want to get stoned with you.
Yeah, it's like, dude, we should totally watch this movie. You're like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, I'm really high right now. Let's watch the Serbian film.
Oh, gross! No, never again. I never want to see that movie again. Yeah.
I had a couple of honorable mentions I want to throw out there. First
Serbian
one,
film.
we talked about it last week. Samurai Cop. Oh my God, that's so amazing. And you're stoned, you will be crying laughing at that movie. I had another one, but I think I lost it. Yeah, we'll just go with no, Evil Dead 2. This was a classic back in the day. It's a classic horror film, but it's a horror comedy, and we would get stoned and watch that and just laugh hysterically.
Did you say Samurai Cop was on Prime or Netflix or something, or is it just a YouTube thing?
It's on Prime.
Oh, okay.
I tell you, a good double feature is Samurai Cop and Kung Fury.
Oh, now you're talking Kung Fury all the time. Was that the first time that you ever saw it when I mentioned in the group?
No, I saw that when it first came out. I had a buddy who did the Kickstarter. And he got, I guess you put up like $30 or whatever. He got the Blu-ray.
Oh, cool!
And he has a copy of that. I think that's worth like $300-400 now.
Oh, wow, that's so cool.
So limited. And I was like, oh man, I wish I would have jumped on that. That would have been a really nice collector's item to have.
Does it have any like extra commentary or anything like that?
I think it has a lot of stuff that they put on YouTube, like the behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, okay. But nothing. You haven't seen it then, exactly?
No. I don't even think he unwrapped it.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't, especially if I found out the value was that high. Shit.
Well, that and he knew it was going to, if you ordered it, you knew it was going to be limited, but you can watch it on YouTube, so why even bother? It's not like you're going for top video quality when you're watching Kung Fury. But that would be a good stoner pick too.
Yeah, no, of course. I was trying not to overlap, but like some people just did. Chris. So I just found out his name. The guy who plays Freak Show and Harold and Kumar, Christopher Maloney, because he's in your movie. I think he's in Fear and Loathing also.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Christopher Maloney was Sven, the Flamingo hotel clerk. Was it a weird character that had like face makeup and stuff, prosthetic or anything?
I don't think so. I don't think so. He was weird. They're all weird characters, and that's what
he does. These weird characters. Like I know at least 2 or 3 of them from movies. Like you'd just be so surprised. Like what the hell? Like this guy plays a serious like hard ass cop on SVU, and then he just does these funny ass roles. So random. This portion of Coast to Coast Film Reviews is being brought to you by the following sponsors. Ed's Unidirectional Elevators. Ed promises to never let you down. And also by Sam's new TV Guide Dinners, featuring the only frozen alphabet soup on the market that spells out next week's TV listings.
We dug deep for those.
I was doing a couple of shorties.
Yeah, they didn't want to give us as much money. They're not going to get that much airtime.
No, they dropped me a few bucks.
Yeah.
I didn't go into detail on them. We'll see if they show up again next week.
Yeah, there's some more money our way.
Yeah, all that money I'm swimming in right now, all this change. Tune in next week when we'll talk about our top comic book adaptations. So that'll be fun. David will finally have to maybe watch a superhero movie. We'll see if that happens. Or you just rewatch some favorites from the 70s and 80s and insult Captain America in my face. Oh, he's so dumb. Captain America's stupid.
He has a shield.
That's cheating.
His main weapon is a defense mechanism.
Is a frisbee. I can see faster. That's an actual quote from Captain America.
Yeah, He-Man at least had a shield and a sword.
And a sword, that's true. And a tiger.
Yeah,
with
and
battle
a tiger.
armor.
He-Man would fuck Captain America up.
You cannot compare those power levels. They're not even the same universe. He's a master of the universe. That's completely unfair.